Last year was our first full year without like any major sellouts or delays. So that was the 2.5 million mark.
Very nice, man. I mean, that's quite fast. Like, did you guys get any like funding, or that's all like self-funded?
All self-funded. We started with about $10,000, and we just scaled. We took all the money. We'd buy $10,000 worth of inventory,
Mhm.
take all of that money that was left after the ad spend, reinvest it in more inventory. And then we did that about 10 different times. And now we're ordering 15,000 units at a time.
Wow. I mean, that's impressive, like to scale that fast without, without like funding. So,
Exactly. hey
guys, so today we have a very special interview. We have Chris Meade. He's co-founder and chief revenue officer of
Crossnet.
Yeah, and so guys are basically having very like unique product, and they have patented their product. They're selling it very well, and so basically connected today to learn about the main insights about the product development, about the marketing side of things.
Yeah, so we invented the world's first four-way volleyball net. It's as easy as it seems. It's just two volleyball nets put together. We patented the technology, so we're the only ones that could create a four-way volleyball net. And it's a free-for-all, so you have people on all sides of the net spiking and playing volleyball against each other, and they're trying to score points. So you get a point by eliminating somebody, and games are played to 11, and you win by 2. Really easy and portable product. So it's $150. We sell it on our Shopify website, and we sell it at about 20 other retailers across the world. And last year we did about $2.5 million in sales.
Very nice. Was it like first year of business?
So it was our second year. It was our first full year without having sellouts. We'd run out of inventory because we're not a drop ship product. We stock everything in our warehouse. So there's a lot of unpredictability. You don't know. You get to the summer months, you think you're going to sell 50 a day, you sell 75. If you keep doing that for a few weeks, you run out of inventory way faster. So last year was our first full year without like any major sellouts or delays. So that was the 2.5 million mark.
Very nice, man. I mean, that's quite fast. Like, did you guys get any like funding, or that's all like self-funded?
All self-funded. We started with about $10,000, and we just scaled. We took all the money. We'd buy $10,000 worth of inventory, take all of that money that was left after the ad spend, reinvest it in more inventory. And then we did that about 10 different times. And now we're ordering 15,000 units at a time.
Wow. That's impressive, like to scale that fast without like funding.
Exactly.
So what was it like kind of the major like platform for you? Was it like Google or Facebook?
Facebook was definitely for getting ads, but connecting to influencers was Instagram. And we made sure that we didn't give away too much inventory because it's a high cost product plus shipping. If I want to send something to Europe, it's going to cost me over $200. So if I pick 5 influencers, I'm down $1,000, and I have no idea if we'll ever even do it. So we didn't take a lot of risks. We found a few people that we could really trust and we built a good relationship with, and then we gave away the free product. So Instagram to create the content, then monetizing it on Facebook.
Very nice. So on Facebook, it's like retargeting only, or there's like some cold acquisition as well?
Yeah, there's definitely cold acquisition from events and email marketing that we do, buying email lists as well, and all that kind of smart stuff that we do on our end. But we run the ads on Facebook. We have the Google Shopping and Google Ads. We have Bing ads, starting to run YouTube ads. So pretty much anywhere we can run ads and see a profit on it, we're testing it out.
Very nice. So you're running ads or someone else runs?
No, we have I have a Google consultant, and then we have a Facebook agency that we work with to run all of that. And then we actually do the posting of the social media in-house, like running like stories and swipe ups and all that. We have a team doing that. And then we also just started working with an email marketing agency. And they're creating amazing, beautiful emails that before we were just typing text and it looked pretty crappy, but now it looks like we're a real company, like you would never know that I created so it's cool. It's a good feeling. And we do it all cheap, very, very affordable. We don't spend a lot of money on like agencies or fees and stuff like that. So You got to stay frugal.
Very nice, man. I mean, that's good. How did you develop the product in the first place? Was it like someone's idea, or like you've seen?
Yeah, so we had the idea about the game. We were just me and my two friends just thinking about products, and four-way volleyball came up, and then one of our co-founders, Mike, is an engineer. So he started writing up the blueprints, making up the wireframes and CAD and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
Stuff that I wouldn't know how to do, and most of the world wouldn't know how to do, but we were lucky to have him on our team.
Okay, so like, is he like specializing specifically in that equipment,
Yeah,
or that?
he's an engineer.
Uh-huh.
So he's an engineer by trade, went to school for engineering. So he built the blueprint, built the product, and then we found a factory overseas to manufacture it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
Very nice.
responsible for all that communication, making sure it gets into the country and all of that.
And so like once you developed it, like kind of like had that idea, did you like validate it somehow, like, or you just
Of
started?
course. Yes. Once we created it, we created a prototype. We went to our local Walmart and bought two volleyball nets and tied them together just to see if it was even fun. And it was. We played for hours. So then we got our first initial samples. We brought them to the beach, and everybody started coming up to us. Strangers would say, "Hey, can I play? Let me join in." And we're
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, we definitely have something here. Let's do it." So we eventually put in an order for like 50 units or so, and got them into the country. We started doing pre-sales. We didn't have like high quality videos. It was mostly friends and family and all that. And then
Mhm.
eventually they just started selling.
Very nice. You done any like Kickstarter, like Indiegogo? No?
Nope. The only Kickstarter we did, we took money from our bank account and we put it together and we bought the inventory. And that was about it.
I mean, that's like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Most people go into like drop shipping as a first step. Like, I mean, you've taken like the next step, pretty much more risk, more product development in the
Oh
first
yeah.
time, without knowing like pretty much like, did you know that it will work out, or like it was just like?
We knew we had a great product. And we're still like so confident. Like I could go anywhere in the world and I could put the four-way volleyball net and somebody's gonna look at it and say, "Yeah, I want to play this." And yeah. So we knew we had a good product. The high price point was difficult. Normally, like knowing drop shipping, 30, $50, kind of that
Yeah.
sweet spot, maybe a little cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
So 150 is a little bit harder of an impulse sale. So
Mm-hmm.
we've had to learn how to retarget and how to kind of get people down into that funnel. You might see it on Facebook, but
Mm-hmm.
you may not buy until the 12th time you've seen it. So how do we get all those touch points? Has been a learning curve, but it's also super rewarding.
Mm-hmm. So basically on Facebook, you have like multiple like touch points and multiple retargeting angles that you're like
Correct.
constantly bombarding people, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And we have niched videos. So we have different videos geared towards adults than
Mm-hmm.
the ones that get shown to kids, and then different ad copy as well. So we'll have stuff geared towards gym teachers,
Mm-hmm.
geared towards families, geared millennials, and we'll run stuff like that. We'll run statewide campaigns. So we see that Hawaii is having trouble ordering because it's so expensive because of the shipping
Mm-hmm.
from Connecticut to Hawaii. It's an expensive thing. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll run an exclusive Hawaii only discount to try to motivate Hawaii sales, stuff like
Mm.
that.
Cool. So you're actually like reading, and because you mentioned different angles for different types of the market, right? So are you talking to customers? How do you identify those kind of like angles, or you're just reading the comments on the ads?
Yeah, it's a lot of reading the comments. I mean, we talk to the customers, we have events and tournaments, but
Mm-hmm.
essentially it's February right now. We know it's cold in the majority of the world in the
Mm-hmm.
United States. So
Mm-hmm.
it makes the most sense to market to the people who are going to be able to use it, which would be the southern states, Florida, Texas, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the states that we want to get the game to. And then come summer, we'll pump up our ad spend to the north, where
Mm-hmm.
people are like, yeah, we got 2, 3 good months of summer. Let's go out and play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's doing based off geo for sure.
Cool. And are you planning to expand like the range of the products that you're selling?
Yeah, so we just released the indoor product actually last week.
Mm-hmm.
So now we had the Crossnet outside, but everywhere across the world they were playing and they're like, hey, it gets dark out, it's too cold, I want to play it on the blacktop, I just want to be able to set it up where I can't stake it into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So we released an indoor model, which is a new upsell. It's $100. But now gym teachers are buying it. We're in over 3,000 schools playing Crossnet in physical education classrooms. So gym teachers are buying it like crazy. So that's a really cool product we just put out. We're really excited about that.
Very nice. So the kind of like that kind of like development for the schools and everything, that's also like big part of your business.
Yeah, huge part of our business. We have 3,000 schools, probably being 7,500 by the end of the year is the goal. But essentially, we knew to get it to the gym classes because it makes gym class more fun. Gym teachers are excited because their kids are having fun in class and not bored. And then the kids have a great time. And then you have classes of 20, 50 kids. They're all going home telling their parents what they did in school. Hey, Mom, we played on Crossnet. It was so much fun. What do you know? It's his birthday. He gets a Crossnet for his birthday. So it's like, it's just great.
Very nice, man. And so, so pretty much like, is that kind of, because I'm not like volleyball player myself, and so is that kind of like typical? So you mentioned there's specific rules to this game, right? That like you mentioned like 9 or 11, the scores and stuff.
11, yeah. So it's Foursquare, which is a childhood game. I'm not sure if they have it over in Europe, but in the United States, it's a big childhood game called Foursquare, where you bounce the ball onto a blacktop. So yeah, the rules are a little bit different, but gym teachers can use the net any way they like. So they're using it to teach kids how to bump, how to serve, just the basic fundamentals. And it's cool because when you learn volleyball in school, it's normally like 10 people versus 10 people, and you hit the ball once in about a half an hour. So you're sitting there bored, your hands are in your pockets, but now you're getting the ball spiked at you every 2 seconds, and you got to be alert. So it makes the class a lot more fun. So everybody's winning.
Cool, awesome. In terms of like manufacturing the product, like have you had any like bottlenecks or like major lessons?
The biggest issue is kind of staying ahead of growth, because you never know what's going to happen. We'd like to think that we know how many units are going to sell this June, but I certainly got the number of units wrong that we sold in February wrong. So I think I'm going to get the one in June wrong, but you just want to stay ahead. You don't want to have too much inventory that you don't have enough cash. So just planning ahead for that. And then when you work with an overseas manufacturer, lead times could be 60, 90 days.
Yeah.
So you need to plan for that, have enough cash for that while planning for crazy growth. It's tough, especially without being kickstarted or having outside investors who could just throw you cash.
Are you utilizing like Shopify, like funding, like those kind of options?
No, we haven't utilized any funding. It's been all of our own money. We haven't taken a single dollar from anywhere. We're just buying enough inventory for what we need. If we see by this date we've sold X amount, we'll put the new order in, and they just start working. So every month the manufacturers are shipping over product.
I mean, this is awesome. So kind of so much like sacrifice, like to
a lot
to grow a business like this.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's good though because we own 100% of our business. We don't owe anybody anything, and we don't have any debt. So every single month when the month clears, we get paid. Our employees get paid, and there's still money in the bank, and we don't owe a single person anything. So it's a good feeling.
Very, very nice, man. And then in terms of the like basically hiring people and team building, like are you hiring in-house or are you hiring like remotely?
Yeah, we hire all remotely. So our only overhead is I go to a shared co-working space. It's like $100 a month. That's my office, or the Starbucks across the street. But we hire remotely. Our teams in San Diego, Colorado, Indiana, Connecticut. And then we have freelancers in the Philippines, in Ukraine, everywhere and anywhere who give quality work. We'll hire for. Obviously looking to save as much money as possible on freelancers, but we could also get I get really quality work on websites like freeup.com. Just find some awesome talent for pretty cheap.
Freeup.com, right?
Yep, freeup.com. Real
Is
good.
that like the Nathan, what's the name of the guy, Nathan Hitch?
Yeah, Nate.
Yeah.
So me and Nate actually went to college together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I've been using his tool for a while now.
So there's actually like a good talent on that
Yep, really good talent. All of Crossnet's talent. We have about 15 people or so, all from FreeUp. Yeah. And so I hire all the time for weaknesses, graphic design,
Uh-huh.
email, copywriting, all these little like areas that I'm weak in or our company's weak
Mhm.
in 15 seconds you could find somebody.
Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. Cool.
So
Yeah, so we'll probably like, drop the link somewhere so people can
cool.
check it
Yeah,
out.
of course.
Awesome. And so what have been like, so there have been like three lessons, you know, that like, for example, that you've learned throughout this journey. Obviously, you know, now you're growing very fast. Like, what would you what would
Um,
you tell yourself?
I would never. So I see a lot of entrepreneurs do this. Don't buy too much inventory.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be more inventory to get there. So
Mm-hmm.
if you sell your product, you have more money and you can get more inventory. So just be patient.
Mm-hmm.
I never like I see people buy t-shirts and swag and coffee mugs of their company and their logo. And I'm like, your job is to make money as a founder. And like when you start very small and don't have a lot of cash, if you
Mm-hmm.
spend $1,000 on t-shirts and swag for yourself, like that's just wasted money that you could be running ads on or making money. So
Mm-hmm.
use only spend money when you're making money with it. In the beginning for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then also don't give out too much inventory. If your product is expensive,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a risk, if you don't think the people are gonna make the content, there's millions of influencers out there. Negotiate with them. If this dude tells you $500 and you don't think it's worth 500, tell him 200. If not, there's gonna be 50 other influencers who will take $200 all day long.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, like growing from that like mindset of like limited resources, actually, like you
yeah,
guys are very you guys are very kind of thoughtful about every like resource that you're sharing.
yeah, we're not we grew up with not a lot of money, so we don't waste our money. Like if
Mm-hmm.
I don't make money back on the money I spend, I will never spend it that way again. Like
Mm-hmm.
I will find other ways to spend my money to make money. So
That's so different, you know. Like the whole culture is like instant, like you know, instant gratification, like cars and stuff, right? Like
yeah, no, I don't even have a car. I got an Uber.
that's man, same here, same here. And so
Yeah.
yeah, that's why like yeah, like we're really believing like I want to like my office to be like few minutes away, then like everything is around, like no time for.
Exactly. Yeah, I got my scooter and that's about it. But there's no, it's not instant gratification. It's the long term. I'm trying to
Mhm.
sell this guy in a few years. Like it's not. I don't need it right now. I need it for the future, and we're planning for
Mhm.
the future. And the best way is by hiring people to make the company better.
Mhm. Very smart move, like you mentioned that you actually patented the product.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yes, it's fully patented.
was this like your idea?
It was just it was just a kind of a no-brainer idea. Like
Mhm.
we invented the game, nobody was doing it. There's a patent, and yeah, we'll take the protection.
Mhm. Very
So
good.
yeah, it's definitely so bigger companies couldn't come in, and we've made partnerships now with Wilson, the volleyball manufacturing
Oh, real?
company.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, so that we're having Crossnet Wilson balls come out in a few months. So like we have partnerships with these massive companies now that are like just making us more and more valid and not just some Facebook product, you know?
Very nice. So you do the brand like kind of like those business development, or you have
Yeah, I
someone?
do all of that. So I do all those business development things. Well, Mike had reached out to Wilson because he's responsible for manufacturing, but
Mhm.
the branding with like Target and Walmart and Amazon and all the big box stores is my responsibility.
Jeez, man, how do you get in touch with like Target? Like how do you get them to actually?
LinkedIn, just like I got in touch with you.
Oh, really, man? That's so powerful.
That easy.
I
Yeah.
said people don't respond on LinkedIn.
No, man. If I what I did was I added everybody who could possibly buy Crossnet, like a buyer at one of the big stores on LinkedIn. And once they accepted me, over time, they would continue to see my posts. So
Mhm.
when I finally did reach out, they're like, "Oh yeah, Crossnet. Like I've seen it. I've seen you post it. I've been retargeted if they click on the ad." So it becomes not as cold. It's not like they add me and I message them 10 seconds later. They're
Gee.
getting kind of nurtured on my news feed and they don't even know it.
So one more time. So how do you get person in that like warm list?
So
Like
I add them on LinkedIn.
yeah,
I then post on my LinkedIn.
yeah.
Hey, this is Crossing. Hey, we made it on Forbes. Hey, this is our new video. And it's
Mm-hmm.
in their news feed. So they're scrolling by it, they see it. So now I'm getting their impression for free.
Mm.
Over time, they might comment. And if they
Mhm.
do that, then I'm automatically going. But over time, it becomes so warm to them that when I do send them an email or a message,
Uh-huh.
they're more receptive than me just reaching out the second I add them, you know?
Wow, man, this is good. So you reached out to like target like these big like stores and kind of like networks already, like when you had some kind of a momentum, right?
Yeah, of course. And you got to make sure that you don't do it too early because you could ruin the relationship. If you get
Yeah.
your product into the store, luckily, and it doesn't sell, then
Mm-hmm.
you could destroy the entire relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
don't do it too early or you'll shoot yourself in the foot.
Man, this is like, how do you get these like creative ideas? It's just like out of necessity and lack of resources. You just
Yeah,
get
and
creative.
Google, just Googling all the time. Like, what can I do to make my business better? I've made
Uh-huh.
1 million. How do I make 5 million? Just creative ideas, and it's really being like, I'm always looking for areas that we're weak in, like email marketing. We looked like we were 5-year-olds putting out emails to customers. We're a $2 million customer company
Mm-hmm.
putting out 5-year-old emails, looking like toddlers wrote it. Yeah, I could afford to hire an agency. So I hired an agency to do it. And now we have like these sexy emails. I'm like, damn, that's my company sending that. So
Mm-hmm.
like doing little things like that just to put us up. And then I see like our email marketing revenue last month was 2%. This month it's 12%. That clearly like is a massive jump. So it's worth the risk.
Very nice. Are like so you collecting like using some pop-up to collect emails?
Oh yeah, Clavia. And if you are starting off, use Privy because it's free.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So
And so like those like 12% of the revenue that came from like people buying the main product the first time, or that's kind of like the repeat purchases.
no, the main product the first time, but
Mm-hmm.
that 12% was coming from abandoned cart emails, welcome newsletters, browse abandonment, just
Mm-hmm.
different type of emails that we were not sending
Mm-hmm.
even this time last year.
And then do you do any broadcasts?
What do you mean by that?
Or like broadcasts, like so when you just send an email like to the
Oh
list, like
yeah, yeah. So we'll create campaigns. So we do 2 or 3 a week, but we'll do it to different audiences. So we'll send like a cool one just gathered towards people who have purchased before,
mm-hmm.
and then we'll do like a sale to people who have never purchased before. So we'll use different demographics and audiences to kind of split the messaging up.
Mm-hmm. Cool, awesome. And so in terms of like Facebook advertising, how much you spend on in total on Facebook?
It depends. Like in the cold weather, like right now, it's not as popular as the summer, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll spend a couple $100 a day, sometimes $500 or whatever. I don't oversee the Facebook. That's our other partner, Greg. But in the summer, we'll spend a couple $1,000 a day as long as we're seeing a return. Like I said, if I spend $2,000 and I make 2,100,
Mm-hmm.
let's do it. And then let's find areas to make as much cash as possible. So we'll burn the cash if we see the cash coming in, but we'll never lose the cash. Like if I see negative, it gets cut real quick.
That's so like, oh man, this is so. I have very similar mindset, you know, because
Yeah, why would I lose money? Like that's stupid. I didn't make a business to lose money. I made a business to make money. Like I'd rather not sell Crossnet for 5 days. I'd rather us not make a single sale than
Mhm.
me lose money for 5 days straight. That doesn't make sense to me.
That's so good, man. That's so
You know?
good. That makes you creative though. Like you know, you're looking for ways to like invest, you know, those resources.
Of course.
And especially as company grows, as you know, the bigger the company is, the more kind of like, oh, you know, let's do this and do this and you know, like all
Yeah.
this stuff. And then so it's good that you have this like mindset. Awesome. In terms of like your major kind of like your major mistakes, have you done like any mistakes like along the way?
I think being cheap has allowed us to not make too many mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely one that I wish we did better was customer service.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't the best in the beginning. We
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't answer emails for 2 days at a time, 3 days at a time, and it just wasn't a good look. So going back to the early days, putting more focus on customer service and making the initial customers happy,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think we would be in an even better spot than we are now. So now we have customer service firing like around the clock, people answering phones, just being really receptive to customer service. And you don't think about it much when you only have 1 or 2 customers a day, but it's kind of like the backbone of your company, especially when you're getting hundreds of orders a day now. So it's like, it's really important. Yeah, it's really, really important.
So now do you get like people like organically searching for the name in like in Google?
Oh yeah, all the time. I was literally at a basketball game in Houston, Texas. Like I'm not from Houston, sitting next to 2 guys, and we're just talking, just introducing each other. And I told them what I did, and they're like, "Oh, I actually have that. My parents bought me that." So like, people like I'm meeting people at the airport who have like gotten it as a gift, like have played it. So it's pretty. It's a good feeling.
Very good, man. And so so that's kind of like natural. Like so you found kind of like that. You think you found that like product market fit?
Yeah, definitely. And we're keeping scaling that. We found that parents are really good, but we really want to even get it stronger with millennials this year and people actually going out, playing the game, going to tournaments, and creating it into a bigger sport.
Very nice. So do you see any like competition, kind of like how competition can only buy you at this point?
Yeah, right now there's not really much competition in the market. Our biggest thing is creating competition and having people come to events and tournaments. So that's what we're looking for right now. As for outdoor other games, there's no other really outdoor products that are like ours. But I'm happy if people are going outside and they're living like an active lifestyle. That's better for me because that means they're going to potentially purchase my game. I'm going to sell more Crossnets to people who go outside than people who stay inside and watch Netflix. Like, that's a fact. So.
Cool. Do you see like better return like on Google? Like, do you see any like good returns currently?
Yeah, we see great returns on Google. Absolutely love it. One thing we actually just caught was running at Google Ads directly to our own name. We found that people were organically searching us, and we were spending like $500 a week for no reason running ads on our own name. People were going to get to our website. We own the brand. We own the listing. So why run ads on, and it's kind of taboo because everyone says run ads on your company name at all times.
You mean branded, like branded?
Yeah, exactly. So we cut that, and we've saved thousands in the last like few months. So, but we're still getting the same amount of sales.
Because your name is like on top anyway, right?
Yeah, our name's up top anyway, right? Why run an ad when my name's #1 anyway? They're gonna click it.
No one is bidding on the keywords yet?
No, and if they do, I mean, we've had people try to bid on it, and then they lose so much money anyway because it doesn't convert, because people are just gonna scroll down and get us anyway, that they stop bidding on it. So
you're like catching like these like little inefficiencies and
yeah, I mean, like even like Dropbox, right? Like we had like 7 Dropbox sign-ins, and that cost like $150 a month. I was like, cut that. That's $150. Like,
that's good, right? So you basically like a corporate trader for your own company.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's good, man. So what would be your kind of like recommendations for people who are like, for example, they're evolving from drop shipping, like, or people who have brands, but like a lot of the brands that I know of, like they face like tremendous like competition, from Chinese sellers, from other people, and it's constantly in this field. And you seem to be like in a field where it's like, there's no competition.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I definitely, I can sit here and talk about it all day. I definitely think there's an avenue of luck, and also just we have an awesome product and kind of got lucky with that. And we've been smart enough to just like capitalize like crazy. Granted, everybody else can't be in that kind of situation and have that kind of a crazy product. So like people who creating like t-shirt or clothing companies and have been drop shipping but want to bring it in-house and start a brand. I think just starting the brand and making sure you have a high quality product and testing it out. Don't risk the farm. Like, get a few units of I have a friend who's been trying to make a t-shirt company for like 4 years now. And I'm like, man, you just got to bring it in-house, like bring some product in and see if it works. Like, you'll never know until you try. So just start small. Don't risk a lot of cash, and find something that separates you from somebody else. Because if you don't have that, then it's going to be really tough. And it all could be just with the branding. Just find a few different words that work for you, that trigger the customer, and make it affordable, or make it not affordable. Maybe you want to do the opposite and make it really bougie and make a lot of money that way. So just find something that ticks and something that makes you unique and different, and that'll be a lot easier.
So you went like you went for like for more like premium market, or that's like normal?
Yeah, it was. We didn't really want to go for the premium market. We know that we're going to sell more at $100 than 150, but we started to realize we wanted to work with all the big stores. So we had to make a price point for the retailers to buy at to then resell. And at $100, we didn't make any cash. At 150, we were making cash when we sold it to Target and Walmart and all the stores.
Okay, that's very interesting. So the big like retail stores, like they need a product of a certain like price point, or it's just like...
Yeah. So they need it at about like 50% of your price point. So that means you got to get it for 50% of that price point.
So they get it for 75 from you and they sell it for 150?
Yeah, I mean, they get it for a bit more than that. But yeah, theoretically, when you start a conversation with a buyer, they typically like to 2x it. So if you sell a $20 product, they're going to want to buy it for 40, and then they're going to want to sell it for 80. So that's typically like the markup. And it depends on each product, but that's typically what they like to see.
That's interesting. Like, and I mean, that's also you found on the internet, Googling it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, think if you're like a t-shirt company and you have a $30 t-shirt, the store that you sell it at will probably buy it at $15 to $17. And if you want good margins, you got to make sure that you're manufacturing that for less than $7 to keep that margin. And then you have your ad spend, you have your shipping, you have your packaging. So everything adds up. So it's always 2x is typically like what we live off of.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Like, is that like your first company, or you've had?
Yeah, it's my first company. Yeah, just a lot of learning and just being patient, and just I had a sales background, so I've like been good at reaching out to people who shouldn't be answering my emails and reaching out and just being creative. You got to be creative when you don't have a lot of money and want to just get it out there.
What kind of sales you were? What kind of like? What?
I was doing software. So my first job was in software sales for a tech company called Contently. And then I worked at the Uber headquarters, actually. So I helped launch Uber Eats in Boston and Providence, like selling to restaurant owners and general managers and all of that good stuff.
That's definitely was like invaluable experience.
Yeah, it was super valuable. Like just cold emailing, blasting, cold calling, like the nitty gritty stuff that works.
So Uber, like, so if you work for Uber, like for like huge company like that, like you have to call people still?
Yeah, you do. Yep. Even at the corporate level, when you're making a lot of money, you got to cold call people.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
This is
a lot of fun.
This is so good insights. And like, have you had like any entrepreneurs in your family?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
That's interesting. I mean, because for me, like when I'm talking to like entrepreneurs, I'm always looking for some kind of like either background or family. It's something like where, because you have like very strong like core like principles by which you operate.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for.
I mean, those definitely came from. I grew up in a very middle class family, if not a little bit lower than middle class. So, not having a lot of money growing up was just like, let's not waste cash. We know what the nice things are in life. Let's work our ass off to get those things. And it's not going to happen soon. It's going to happen with a lot of hard work. And if we waste the money, we're not going to get to where we want to be ultimately. So just being super frugal. Like our fun Friday nights growing up was going out and getting chicken fingers at like a restaurant, like that was Friday night. And that's still Friday night for me. Like I'm excited if I could go get chicken fingers with my girlfriend and go to the movies. Like that's all I need, super simple.
That's good. I mean, so many like good, I think it's totally different from the culture, like overall, like people like.
It's a sham. It's all a sham.
We want everything like today, like.
It's, it's tough seeing that, like the Lamborghinis and like, I mean, we could be doing that, right? Yeah. But what's the point when the company goes bankrupt and we don't have the success that we need? Like I'm building for a future, not for right now.
Very good, very good. Cool, man. So good insights. How do people like, so Crossnet, right? So
Yep.
we'll post
Yeah,
like the people.
crossnetgame.com.
Yeah, guys, if you want to have fun, like, is that like for a beach or that's like
Beach,
anywhere?
grass, blacktop, indoor, outdoor, anywhere that you have 12 feet of space, set it up.
Okay, so 12 feet, like, oh, I'm calculating meters, like
A
it's like,
basketball hoop. If you lay a basketball hoop down,
okay.
not that big.
So you like, do you need like to have like, so indoor, like you need to have like huge kind of like space?
No,
No?
it's just like 2 couches. Nothing too big. It's pretty small.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not that big.
Wow.
Looking for a couch.
That's not bad. Oh yeah, I'm in the office, so I don't have a couch.
Yeah,
So
you have a small area. It's a 6 feet by 6 feet,
uh-huh.
so it's not too big.
That's very interesting, man.
Yeah.
So it was just like random idea that you've had, like.
We just thought of it one night. We were just like, boom, let's make it.
That's very interesting. You considered like drop shipping? You might have seen.
No, we were not. I don't like drop shipping. I wanna own something. I wanna have it. It's tangible. I don't want to have my customer wait for 4 or 5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tedious process for me. So I want to own it. I want to drop ship it. Not drop ship it. I want to manufacture it, import it, and just have the whole fulfillment line. Like that's really prideful for me.
Man, I mean, you will. I mean, with the principles and the mindset you have, like you guys will definitely blow it up. And
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for the insights, guys. If you wanna follow Chris, how do people? So yeah, they can just search for your name.
Crossnet Game. My name's Chris Meade. I'm on LinkedIn. If you got a question, Chris CHRIS at crossnetgame.com is my email. Hit me up. Happy to help.
Very nice, man. Very good insights. So what I mean from our conversation, the biggest insights. I mean, reaching out to people, like, so if you have like a good product, you have like proof of concept, like finding the strategy that you have outlined with reaching out to buyers, like in big companies. I saw this like, you know, maybe if like you have a connection there and someone knows someone, it's much simpler. So yeah, and then like how frugal you are about like your resources and like allocating everything where like if it doesn't make money, that's very good insight. Product development, the patenting, like if you have something that you know that is unique. Very good, man. Yeah, thank you for sharing, guys. You can you can find Chris Meade. So we'll basically put the resource so people can follow you. And if you want to check out the product, it's Crossnet. We'll also put the link below. Thank you for sharing this, man.
Appreciate it.
Looking forward to seeing you like at 8 figures and 9 figures.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Cool, man. Stay in touch.